By the end of this video, you're going to find out 3 reasons why the Golden State Warriors should trade for Jonas Valanciunas and why he's a better choice than Kevin Looney right now. I'm also going to tell you what's going to cost the Warriors to actually bring him. But it's not all pros in this trade. There are some cons and we're going to discuss them here. First of all, here are the rumors around Jonas Valanciunas. He just signed with the Washington Wizards a $30 million 3-year contract. So he doesn't have that very large contract and he's a feasible achievement for multiple teams. And that's why not just the Golden State Warriors, but the Los Angeles Lakers and the New York Knicks are also interested in him. See what it's saying here. The expectation reportedly floating around the NBA is that the Washington Wizards will trade Jonas Valanciunas in December, according to Sean Dumbany of Heavy.com, when the veteran center eligible to be moved after signing a 3-year $30 million. He can be traded right now, right? He just signed with the Washington Wizards. That's a move to be done in December, mid-season. And why the Washington Wizards would do that is because they want to invest in the future. They're bringing some new players. So they use their cap space to pay someone right now. And then they aim to train that, Jonas Valanciunas, for younger players and for players that will be with them for a while. So if the Warriors can pull off this trade, it's going to be great because point number one, he's a big center, a great rebounder. So he's going to create that volume, that strong, tall player that we need as a center. We are a high volume shooting team. We have Stephen Curry. We just brought Buddy Hield. We have other players as well that have a high volume of shooting. And having that guy there, it's a big for the Warriors. Defensive and offensive as well. He's good on both ends. And he averaged over 8 rebounds in his career. So I think he fits so well in that rotation that the Warriors need as a starter, and then it has to provide guidance for Tracy Jackson and for the younger centers like Quinton Post in case he stays with the Warriors. So he fits really well on that rotation that we have on that plan of playing both sides of the court, and that's why the Warriors should do a trade for him. Let's look to his career stats, right? You can see the evolution. He has been around for a while. He's not a young player anymore, 32 years old, but he's still delivering what we need, and he's definitely better than the centers that we have right now. Let's just remind that Jonas Valanciunas was part of the Toronto Raptors that beat the Warriors in the finals, so he has a championship ring experience as well, which we know it's important, so he can bring that. He can be a guidance for Tracy Jackson, Quinton Post, whoever young center we have around, so he can play these 3 years of his contract and then pass the torch. So when you look for his stats, for example, last season with the New Orleans Pelicans, he averaged over 12 points, which is great. If he brings to be that position, the center, he's not going to be, that's not the main style of play for the Warriors. So he's definitely more for defensive part, making that body there, volume, rebounds on the defensive and offense sides as well, which you can see here that is great. He has over 8 total rebounds per game average, obviously much more on the defensive side. Also a good number of blocks, averaging 1 block per game, which is higher than most of the players. He's a better free throw shooter than, for example, Kevin Looney. So we have all this mix of stats that we have seen over his career that added to his size and to his body size, right? How much he weighed and the strength that he would bring. It would be great and fantastic for the Warriors need. Remember, we suffer many games because of that lack of sizing, playing small ball, so he definitely adds to that. Point number 2, and we know how much the Warriors are concerned about the salary, the tax, the cap, the aprons, and he would fit perfectly on our needs for this season, which he will be traded if possible in December. So would have already part of that, and then he would be traded and has 2 more years of his contract. It would fit perfectly. He just signed with the Washington Wizards a 3-year contract, so up to 2027, total of 30 million. You see 9.5 for this season coming, and then 10 and 10.5. So you would definitely fit on that lower end that the Warriors are looking for, and it's very valuable for the amount that he brings and the kind of play that he's going to add to the Warriors starter and the Warriors rotation. And then point number 3, he's a great defender and he's always available. So last 2 seasons, the Warriors suffered so much, and that was probably why we had so low ranking positions on the standing that led to the play-in and all the problems that we know. But he has been playing for his age a lot of games. So as we just showed, he played 82 games last season. He played a high volume of minutes, over 20, 23 every game. So that's what we need. He's still going to provide that space for Tracy Jackson. but he will be there for the games that we need, and he will add one more support to our defensive system. He's going to be that support for Draymond Green that we know it's also already walking towards his retirement, his end of his career. Last season, Draymond Green even talked about it not long ago. So bringing that guy for 2.5 years more that will be able to support that definitely put the Warriors in a better position and becoming a contender for a championship and for way more than just playoffs, right? So that's what we are looking for. So let's take a look at some of his highlights, and I'll make a few comments about his style of play. So as you can see here on the post, so he is actually above average from inside the ring when you compare to other centers and other NBA players. You see the defensive side that I said. So it's a big make the volume there, create space, and then being able to block, dunk. So that strong presence, a tall guy, which is going to be really important for the Warriors. We have a very small team compared to others. Again, attacking the ring. You can see here, he took advantage of the Luka Doncic. So it's a great player. Another defensive part against Jokic. So it adds a lot from what the Warriors need, and I think would fit really well. See the pick and roll. So he could fit so many ways to the Warriors right now, and that's what we need. But there are some risks. So if the Warriors pull the trade for Jonas Valanciunas, there are a few things that we need to know and consider. First of all, he's not really that second scorer that we have been saying, right? When you compare with other names like Lauri Markkanen, Brandon Ingram, that the Warriors were considering before, Jeremy Grant, he's not that, right? He's not going to average that 20 points, or at least he hasn't done in his career. He's averaging more like a 12, 13, 14 points per game. So he's not adding that. We're going to have to still find and rely on some other players such as Jonathan Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins, those guys to be that second scorer. On top of that, he's not a great three-point shooter. He does shoot some of them, but compared to what the Warriors do and the volume of shooting that the Warriors have, he's not that guy. It's true that right now we don't have a center that is a good three-point shooter as well, but he's not that guy, so he won't be able to add that. He's not going to be able to be part of that ball movement that he's going to make him available for a lot of three-point shooting. And last and very important point, he's not available right now. So the Warriors will need to keep in mind, he's just available in December. He just signed with the Washington Wizards. He can be traded in December. And that's basically gone the first half of the season, right? We already spoke about this before. I do think this works, but it's a risk. So the Warriors would have to keep themselves competitive as they are right now until that point, and then pull off this trade in December and bring this guy to them do a big push and be that title contender. So what would cost the Warriors to bring Jonas Valanciunas? What is the Washington Wizards looking for, and what can the Warriors do considering that we want to be constrained in that salary? We can just add 10 million more, right? So what would we do? Let's look at the salary cap for the Warriors right now. When you look to the 2024-25 season, the Warriors have a total of 176 million. And we have, for example, we have been comparing, he's a center. So let's look at Kevin Looney, 8 million guarantee for this year. He's a free agent next season. And then what the Washington Wizards are looking for, young players, right? So when you think of this trade, the Warriors are going to have to send at least 9.5 million to the Washington Wizards to make that space for the salary that Jonas Valanciunas has for this season. And that's why I believe that the Warriors, to convince the Washington Wizards to do that, we would have to send Kevin Looney, and we would have to send Moses Moody, that young guy that the Washington Wizards are looking for. And why Moody? Look, reality, I think he's a good player, but he hasn't found his space in the Warriors team right now. And when you look to the guys that we brought in, I don't think he will find either. So if the Warriors is not going to give him those minutes because it's a team decision and it's better for the team, I think he is a valuable asset that we could send towards the Washington Wizards, and it's going to be good for them, and the Warriors get something that they need. So we would send Moses Moody and Kevin Looney, and they might even ask for a second round pick, which then is part of the negotiation, but that's what the Warriors will cost the Warriors to get that center. So since we are comparing Jonas Valanciunas and Kevin Looney, and I'm telling you Jonas Valanciunas is a better option, let me show you the stats and comparison between the two of them. So when you look here, Valanciunas is a little bit older, Looney is 28, Valanciunas is 32. They have played almost the same amount of seasons though, but Valanciunas is better in almost everything. So he has played more games. He's a better in the average points per game, better rebounds, He's also a better blocker, is better three-point shooter. And I know I said he's not a great one when you look to who the Warriors have in the team, but he's still almost double the percentage of Kevin Looney, so it still adds that option as well. And one that calls my attention, he's a much better, or you could say better, free throw shooting percentage. He has a much better free throw shooting percentage, and that's great because we haven't seen, unfortunately, Kevin Looney missing some free throws that make a difference. And considering that Jonas Valanciunas is going to be that rotation fighting for rebounds, that's going to be very important. So he also has a championship. He also has that experience, and that's why he's a better option. But let me know in the comments what you think, if you agree with me or not. And if you want to find out why Jeremy Grant is also a great option for the Warriors, take a look on this video here. Bye.